Welcome back to Usapang Bayan at kasama pa rin po natin ang ating senatorial aspirant from NTC na si Gatchalian. Rach?
Sir, if you are elected as senator, what will you be doing in your first 100 days?
Okay. First, refile my bill, no, itong Free Higher Education Act. Get it pushed, hopefully, get it approved within the year. Meron pa tayong 6 months, no? If ever we assume office July, sana reach ma-push natin yan para by next year makatulong na tayo sa mga bata. On top of that, I really want to bring the Senate closer to the people by going around the countryside, by holding consultations, by really going grassroots. No? Itong campaign really taught me a lot. And the solutions are there. The solutions, nasa tao . If you just listen hard enough, if you give them the opportunity to tell you the solutions, you will find the solutions to solve a lot of our countryside problems.
So aside from going around the countryside, no, what other things will you do differently as a senator that you didn't normally do as a congressman?
I think the Senate opens the door for me, no, in terms of tackling a lot of nationwide problems. Priority mo kasi pag congressman ka is your district, no? Kasi that's your constituency. But as a senator, your constituency is the entire nation. And of course, you have to focus. I really believe in niching and focusing. No? But at the same time, you can also learn and try to contribute on a nationwide scale. Being an entrepreneur in the past, I really want to also focus a lot of my attention in the small and medium enterprises. Niniwala ko, engines of growth natin tong mga SMEs. So we need to make their lives easier, no? Make it profitable. No? That's why they're in business, is to be profitable. And hopefully reduce and cut their costs. No? Especially mga unintended costs like corruption, mga fixers.
As a senator, no, as a senatorial aspirant running and looking at national issues, what is your position on our territorial disputes?
We have very limited options. George, we all know how limited our defense capabilities are. No? So I think we took the correct route. No? We took the legal route by filing an arbitration case. But we're getting very good support from the international community, and we have to drum that, and we have to get more alliances behind us. No? Recently, Japan just signed a soft loan agreement to boost our defense capabilities. Kung marami tayong ganun, mas maganda. Then we will leapfrog our defense capabilities, and hopefully hindi na maulit to in the future.
But in the meantime, we keep on losing
Oo nga,
territory.
that's the consequences. That's why we have to keep on pushing to resolve that international tribunal case. No? Like I said, we have very limited options. We can just go there and defend our territory dahil wala naman tayo ganun capability. But that's why form alliances, get as many help as we can get, and then hopefully it will not happen again, no, in the future.
Sir, you mentioned earlier that you've learned a lot from your campaign. Speaking of campaign, kamusta po ang kampanya? And ano naman po yung very significant lesson that you've learned from public service?
Well, I learned a lot in a sense na talagang makikita mo lahat. No? I've been to 76 out of 81 provinces. No? So 5 na lang hindi ko napupuntahan. And
You have enough time.
sana. But like lately, I went to Samar and I talked to the local government there, yung mga taga Samar, and I found out that wala silang international airport. So for example, if Tacloban Airport is shut, wala nang international airport ang Samar. For example, dumaan ulit sa malaking bagyo, and then Tacloban Airport got damaged. There's no way for international planes or big planes, no, C-130s to land in Samar. So yung mga ganun came from the local officials themselves. And I really think they should build an international airport so both islands will be operating in times of disasters.
Well, there's also certain differing opinions on charter change, no? and some of them want to have, for example, changes on economic issues. No, for example, like the case of foreign ownership and so on. What is your opinion on that?
Sa akin, George, two things. No? I do agree, no, that we should liberalize our constitution in terms of foreign ownership. There are a lot of industries that are restricted to Filipino ownership, like education, retail, communications. Big industries need foreign capital. Alam naman natin, if you build a power plant, you need foreign capital. And normally, if they invest big, they want to have full ownership. So, kaya tayo naiiwanan din ng ibang bansa because they cannot own fully here in the Philippines. No? And we cannot expect them to put big money and they cannot own the company. The other side is foreign land ownership. I don't agree with that. I don't think it's time for us to allow foreigners to own land in our country. In the short term, I think a lot of farmers will be selling their land, making money in the short term, but in the long run, they will be displaced. Unemployment will grow, they will come to the cities. So we have to separate these two, no? Industries and foreign land ownership.
Aside from the problems you've mentioned earlier, ano pa po ba yung tingin nyo na malaking problema ng Pilipinas na naghihinder po sa growth natin? Kasi hanggang ngayon, third world country pa rin
Oo.
tayo eh.
Marami, no, Rich? It's hard to identify one by one. No? I think in opportunities, no? And if you ask me, we have to niche again. No? Yung mga low-hanging fruit natin will be agriculture, no? Improving infrastructure, and number 3 is education, no? Human capital, and human development. Itong tatlo, tingin ko, dapat talagang buhusan ng pondo. But in the meantime, we also have to take care of our defense. We have to take care of other things like disaster preparedness. But given priorities, I think these 3, no, yung agriculture, infra, and human development is very important.
Talking about land issues, no, particularly about the case of land reform, are you in favor of continuing the agrarian reform movement, or it's something that because we've had mixed opinion on that, in that it has hindered actually the growth of
Actually,
farming
George,
in the Philippines?
on the contrary, I was reading some research. There is no evidence that points out that land reform hindered productivity in the agriculture sector. There's no evidence pointing to that. No, that's at least the literature I saw. So, having said that, I think in the name of social justice, I would support to extend land reform, giving land to the landless, giving our yung mga matatagal na nagtatanim doon ng sariling lupa nila, no? So they can own a piece of that land that they've been tilling for generations. No? I think that's just fair. But at the same time, we have to enable them. No? Actually, ang problema sa productivity is not land ownership, but yung enablers. No? Capital, modernization, irrigation system. Ito yung kulang. It's not the ownership of land, but how to make them productive.
Would it also be partly because of economies of scale, in that, for example, if you had 1 hectare or 5 hectares, maybe it might not be economically viable for you to, let's say, have a tractor or a production facility? How do you address that?
In Nueva Ecija, very successful yung kanilang agri-cooperatives there. So they banded together para to make their land as big and as productive as possible. And I think may mga contract growers sila. So there are ways to make it
Like a cooperative, as you
cooperative, to make it reach critical mass. No?
Okay.
There are ways to do that. No? And I think that's what I want to promote also in agriculture cooperatives, to make it efficient and reach critical mass.
But I've also heard recently that there has been moves by the Bureau of Internal Revenue to try to take away the tax exemptions of cooperatives. Are you in favor of that?
I think we have to make a distinction between, there are cooperatives that are, I think the goal is to make profit, profit-oriented cooperatives, and the other one is really social orientation. So we have to make a distinction. I think what we have to do is be fair. No? If the cooperative's intention is really to help out the less fortunate, help out farmers, then I think we should give them tax exemption.
Ano po ba ang guiding principle in life nyo?
Sa akin, in management, I believe in leadership by example. If you want to be a leader, it has to start with you, no? In everything. Whether it's fighting corruption, wearing proper uniform, professionalism, dapat mag-umpisa sa iyo yan. Pag hindi mo magawa yung inuutos mo, walang susunod sa iyo. So that's actually one of the guiding principles na sinusunod ko.
Do you believe in the security of tenure for private sector employees?
Depends on the industry, George. There are industries that are very seasonal, and there are industries that are capital intensive and long term. I'll give you an example. No? May mga small and medium enterprises lang. For example, catering service. No? Ang catering, pag may caterer ka, mayroon kang kliyente, may negosyo ka. Pero kung wala kang kliyente, wala kang negosyo. But you cannot have a full-time staff. All of these are either contractual or either job project-based, no? But you cannot have full-time. No, hindi naman araw-araw may kinakasal, hindi naman araw-araw may birthday, especially if you're a local caterer, no? So you have to have that flexibility. Kung hindi, walang magne-negosyo because ang bigat ng overhead.
Well, actually, we're approaching the end of our show, no? Maybe we'd like to give you a few minutes to make a direct appeal to our electorate
Yes.
about you and your aspirations to become a senator.
George, Rich, thank you again for inviting me to this interview, and sa mga kababayan natin, maraming salamat po at nakasama namin kayo ngayong araw na ito. At muli, ako po si Congressman Gatchalian, nagpapakilala po sa lahat ng ating mga kasama. 15 taon na po ako naglilingkod ho sa lungsod ng Valenzuela at ngayon naman po ay nag-a-apply, no, bilang inyong senador sa darating pong halalan. Ang aking may alay ay karanasan sa pribadong sektor, sa gobyerno, at sa tagal nating naglilingkod po sa pamahalaan ni minsan ho ay hindi ho tayo akusahan ng korupsyon at katiwalian. Integridad po ang ating may alay po sa ating bansa.
In connection with that, no, we were talking about automation, and you also said that you'd like to hear about, the people. No, you'd like to be closer to the people. How do you plan to do that? Let's say once you become a senator, how can the people approach you with their
Alam niyo, malaking
ideas
bagay
and things
in
like that?
Valenzuela. I remember I really promoted our email, our social media. Of course, nothing beats personal connection and personal encounters.
Right,
no?
right.
But in the absence of personal encounters, you can use email and technology.
Or Facebook.
Facebook, FaceTime, Skype. All of this technology is now available, and it's just a matter of, making it available to our constituents.
Sa campaign nyo po, sir, ginagamit nyo yung Kuya Win. Bakit po
Yes.
Kuya Win?
Well, it's sa Valenzuela, yun ang tawag sa akin ng mga estudyante because education nga yung ating advocacy. And kumbaga nasanay na sila tawagin tayo Kuya Win, and it's a very affectionate term and tutuwa nga ako sa mga bata
Well, sa pangalan na pangalan pa lamang, panalo na.
Thank you,
Win
thank you.
Gatchalian.
Thank you.
At yan po ang isang makabuluhang talakayan kasama si Valenzuela 1st District Representative Win Gatchalian.
Maaari nyo po kaming i-follow sa Twitter at GNL Usapang Bayan at i-search ang Usapang Bayan sa Facebook. Ako po si Rach Marquez.
At ako po si George Chua. Samahan niyo po kami sa mga susunod nating talakayan dito sa Usapang Bayan.